Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are here with part 37 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, here for the first round of Season 3 here, our final season on the game at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Very excited for this round. Obviously we've got our new Audi engine alongside McLaren there, so there's going to be a bit of a rivalry there to see how we're able to do, but we're going to have a little look at the performance chart heading into this round. You can see we have dropped a little bit heading into this round, but we're still very much in the top fight, and then you've got that bottom fight for the bottom of the grid. But yeah, luckily we're still in the top fight after that regulation change for the aero department, and yeah, this should be a pretty spicy race with two new engine manufacturers, obviously ourselves with Audi and McLaren, and Williams with the Porsche. Interesting to see how they'll do, but let's have a look at how qualifying went.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Joe, Norris, Sebastian Vettel, Benjamin, Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, George Russell, and Stroll, Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Nikita Mazepin, Latifi, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, and Robert Schwartzman. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, starting P6, which isn't too bad for our first round here with the Audi engine. Good to see that it is at least competitive enough to keep us to the top end of the field, and obviously Lando Norris up in P4 as well. I feel like our main goal for this first round is proving that we can still beat McLaren, sort of as really the only other team that we can compare ourselves to with the same engine. Ricciardo, unfortunately, is right down the bottom of the field. I believe it was 19th. For whatever reason, he had a massive penalty heading into the race here, so yeah, I can confirm he did qualify in P7 right behind me, but for whatever reason, he had some penalty that put him right down at the back of the field. So hopefully he's able to get himself towards, at least in the points would be nice. But certainly looking to be a very interesting race. Obviously, Ferrari was so dominant at the end of last season, and Leclerc's only gone and put it on pole again. Zhou's done very well as well to qualify up in P3 just behind Hamilton. But here we go. Lights out very quickly there. We are underway. We get a better start than Vettel initially, but just a little bit of wheel spin once we go up through the gears as we head into turn 1. There are a lot of cars everywhere. We've got to try and make sure we don't get any damage. You can see keeping right to the inside there to make sure we don't make any contact with anyone. And we actually went 3 wide there with ourselves, Verstappen, and our former teammate Carlos Sainz there back in the McLaren, and made a little bit of contact with Verstappen, but Jeff just telling us there we don't have any damage, so good to see. But Verstappen actually holding it around our outside of turn 4, doing very well there to keep that move going through that corner on lap 1, but we do hold on to P7, so unfortunately we've lost a position to go down to P7. But we're luckily enough we were able to hold off Verstappen from taking a further position off of us, and now he's preoccupied trying to defend from Sainz. So not the greatest start we've ever had, losing a position to Perez. Perez just had a very good start off the line there and was able to get around a few of us. But as we head on to lap 2 now, we're going to do a little bit of an order check to see what's going on. We've got Leclerc leading the race by 1.5 seconds already. Zhou Guanyu has had a very, very good start there in the Mercedes to get ahead of his teammate and Lando Norris to get himself up into P2. Lando Norris is into 3rd place ahead of the other Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, who will be hoping to beat his rookie teammate here this weekend for the first round of the season. Vettel in P5 in the other Ferrari, and obviously, of course, just mentioning Sergio Perez with a great start there to get himself up into P6, and ourselves just behind him, still in P7, trying to get P6 back off him. Max Verstappen in P8, just behind our former teammate, Carlos Sainz, in P9. And rounding out the points is Fernando Alonso in that new BWT Alpine car. Very nice livery. I very much like that livery, the pink and black on that Alpine. I think it's very flashy. He's got his teammate Ocon just behind him. And Ricciardo has already made up a spot, but still down in 18th, now chasing down the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll there. And again, that new Aston Martin there. They lost BWT with that lime green. Looks very nice on that Aston Martin, but now we come back to ourselves here at the start of lap number 3. We are very close to Perez. DRS enabled this lap, but we obviously don't have it just yet on this main straight. As we dive to the inside of turn 1, actually, that caught me a bit off guard there. We dive to the inside, not quite able to get the move done, but now we're going to be nice and close out of turn 2. We've got the better run, and we do have DRS this time out, using overtake mode as well. Everything that we have down towards turn 4 here, and we do get the move done nicely on the Red Bull, and we get ourselves back up into our starting position of P6, and hopefully we can now try and chase down Sebastian Vettel. But now we cut on to lap 5, and Lando Norris has the DRS on Zhou Guanyu as we head into turn 1. Norris to the inside there. Is he going to be able to get the position? Zhou's going to try and hold position over him, but no, Lando is able to sweep around the outside of turn 2 there, and he does get the move done on the young Chinese driver here, still doing very well for his first Grand Prix, although here comes Lewis Hamilton now around the outside of his young teammate, and he's going to get the move done. Yes, he has. There you go. So Zhou, unfortunately, there in the first few corners of lap number 5 has dropped from 2nd to 4th, but still, obviously, that's where he qualified, so he's doing pretty well. But at the end of lap number 5 now, same lap that he just lost those 2 positions, now we're on the back of him, and we're actually going to dive to the inside before we even get to the DRS straight here. We're going to just get the move done nice and early. We were behind before the DRS line, so even if we did lose a bit of time to the cars ahead, we will have DRS here. And actually, it's not done there yet for Zhou, because now Sebastian Vettel got a better run than the Mercedes onto the main straight here, so he's going to try and go to the inside. So Zhou's losing a lot of positions here. I guess it's just sort of showing the inexperience that he has still. He's got the car to be up the front, but it is very easy if you lose a position or 2, if you've got a train behind you, to just start losing more and more positions, although he's done well there to hold off Sebastian Vettel, so he holds on to P5, but now Vettel's under attack from Sergio Perez, who's looking to get himself up the field. Obviously, we saw what a good start Perez had earlier. Vettel is fighting this, though, so as we head now to roughly the halfway point of the lap, we've got these guys still going side by side, so some great racing action here on lap number 6. Perez around the outside. Is he going to be able to get the move done? He's going to have the inside for the double left-hander here. A bit of a precarious place to go side by side with this sort of tightening left-hander, but Vettel is able to hold it and get the better run onto this little sort of back straight section here. And now that means Perez is vulnerable to his teammate, Max Verstappen. So we've had almost a full lap of cars going side by side here. This is insane. As we head through the S section here, is Perez going to keep his nose in? Yes, he is. He doesn't want to lose the position to his teammate as we head onto this sort of last straight. Only one more corner to go on this lap, and this is going to be an entire lap of side-by-side action, just sort of filtering through different cars as it happens, filtering down the order of cars going side-by-side. And Verstappen is going to have the outside line, so he should have the better run onto the main straight here, and he does get ahead of his teammate, and they are both going to DRS, but is Perez actually... Perez is going to come back at his teammate now, and Carlos Sainz is going to get in on this action as well, so could Sainz benefit from this and overtake 2 cars in one overtake here to the inside of turn 1, and he looks like he may have done it. They're going to still go side by side here. He's going to have the outside line, so he'll have the better line, and he does just sweep past both of the Red Bulls, so Christian Horner will be fuming at that their former Red Bull driver there, at least a former Red Bull development driver, has been able to sweep through and get ahead of both of his current Red Bull drivers. As you can see, Ricciardo gets himself ahead of Yuki Tsunoda there and into P12. So Ricciardo doing well at the moment. He's gotten himself up on a P12. We're going to go back in time a little bit here. This is on that same lap that we were just looking at. We were able to get a nice run on Lewis Hamilton out of turns 1, 2, and 3 and get ahead of the Mercedes into P3. And now we're going to be chasing down Lando Norris for 2nd place, but Charles Leclerc, look at that, he's got 4 seconds ahead of us, so he's just absolutely taken off. But at the end of lap 7 now, we're coming into the pit lane for our first pit stop ahead of everyone else. No one else is coming in yet, so this could turn out to be a nice undercut. You can see Sebastian Vettel behind us has also come into the pit lane, so interesting to see what's going on there. He does have the mediums going onto that car, same with us, we've got the mediums, and later on in the race we'll be pitting again onto a soft compound set of tyres. It'll be interesting to see what the AI does about that. You can see, obviously, we've got Sebastian doing that exact same strategy, but maybe some other AI will go soft mediums and finish on this slightly harder compound tyre. But now we've got a bit of work ahead of us to do if we want to keep in the battle with all these guys, because we'll have the fresher tyres, but we've also got to deal with some traffic now. As you can see, the first car on the list is our first ever teammate in this career mode, Nobuharu Matsushita. He's in the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, not the greatest car, that Alpha, unfortunately for him. You can just see there the difference. He's obviously on older medium tyres, but we're able to just sweep around the outside. We run a little bit wide there on that outside curb, but we do pull the move off on our former teammate of Matsushita there. And now we have all eyes forwards on Lance Stroll and the Aston Martin ahead, but you can see looking forward, we got Leclerc into the pit lane, same with Hamilton, Verstappen's in the pit lane, Ricciardo's in the pit lane, and those guys have actually gone onto the soft compound tyres. So just like I said, they are going to be going soft, medium. You'd assume anyway that that's what we're going to do, is we fly past Stroll down the main straight, and we do get out ahead of Norris. So the undercut has worked out for us there. Norris is just behind Lance Stroll, so we've got that little bit of a barrier, but we just demonstrated it's not overly difficult to get ahead of Lance Stroll, and Norris has actually already done that, especially on the soft compound tyre. You can see now getting ahead of the Porsche Williams of Nicholas Latifi there. A very nice, easy switchback manoeuvre on the Williams, and that is us up into P9. We've got the other Williams of George Russell up ahead. Unfortunately for Williams, their deal with Porsche wasn't really able to get them right to the front of the pointy end of the grid. They actually lost quite a bit with the aero regulations, so that Porsche engine is a good engine. It's just unfortunately the Williams doesn't have a great aero package for this season, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to work that up. But as you can see now on lap 10, we're going past the other Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi. That is us up in the P4. And all we've really got left of the cars yet to pit is Yuki Tsunoda in P3 and Alonso up in P2. But Alonso's got a pretty good gap. He's 6 seconds ahead of us still, so I imagine he'll be able to pit before we actually get up to him. So as we head on to lap 11 now, closing right up to the back of the AlphaTauri, diving to the inside of turn 1. Pretty simple move. Tsunoda isn't able to put up too much of a fight. You can see he tries, but we sweep around the outside of turn 2 there, and we do have the move on him done and dusted. And actually though, we don't have the DRS, Tsunoda does, and Norris has the DRS on Tsunoda, so we sweep around the outside of Tsunoda, no worries. But Norris, with that soft compound tyre, is able to get Tsunoda and get alongside us now, and we can't really fight that, because obviously he's got that better compound tyre, so we're just going to have to get behind Norris, and I'm going to try and dive it down into the hairpin here. Are we able to maybe make the move stick? No, Norris is quite easily able to just sweep around the outside there with a better exit and get ahead of us. And you can see we've also got Lewis Hamilton behind us now. He's also on the soft compound tyre, but now on to lap 15. We're still right behind Lando Norris, so we're going to have the DRS try and sweep around the outside of turn 1. And are we going to be able to get the move to stick? We're going to go side by side. This is sort of similar to what happened last time with Yuki Tsunoda. He is ahead, and actually he got the DRS, so we're going to get right behind in the slipstream if we want to keep up. And we're going to try and brake late into turn 4. Are we able to sweep around the outside of the McLaren? We're side by side. We're certainly still here. A bit better than last time as well. We go around the outside of the first S, then we'll have the inside of the second. And we're still going side by side here. This is insane, especially with the harder compound tyre. This is definitely helping us out here. He's not being able to sort of use that soft compound tyre to build a gap that he'll be able to use to defend with on the mediums that he'll have to put onto later. And he runs wide at the end of the double left-hander there, and so we are able to get ahead of the McLaren, but they're going to have the DRS once again. So as we head down to sort of the very ending of this second sector, actually Hamilton is able to get a move done on Norris as well, so that poor exit from Norris really hurt him now, and now this is allowing us a little bit of fresh air and a bit of time to breathe while these guys behind us really battle it out for P4 and P3. You can see Charles Leclerc's taken off. He's 15 seconds off in the lead. But these guys are still going at it here as we head into the final corner. Lewis Hamilton's going to go around the outside of Norris, but he isn't quite able to make the move stick there, so he has to pull back in behind as they head through the corner. But now, with the DRS on us, these guys are both going to be charging like mad bulls down this straight. You can see Norris to the outside. Is Hamilton going to go to the inside? Yes, he does. He goes for a very late dive. That sort of catches me off guard, and so I just completely stop the car there to make sure that there's no contact. And you can see, either way, we still get the warning from the FIA about contact with Norris there, so luckily we were able to avoid anything. But you can see at the end of lap 19, those guys have pit in now off the soft compound tyres. We're going to come in. You can see Leclerc was close to overtaking us again, so he's a full pit stop ahead of us now at this point. That's how dominant of a race he is having as we hum through the pit lane. So those guys are going to have the undercut on us. They're going to have fresh medium tyres compared to the old mediums we've been running around on. But now we're going to have a fresh compound of soft tyres to try and chase them back down. And hopefully we don't have too much traffic in between us. You can see there goes Lando, and then there goes Hamilton. He'll just be ahead of us there. And luckily there is a nice gap for us to slot into it here ahead of Fernando Alonso. He's actually doing a one-stop on the hard tyres, so interesting to see where the Alpine's able to finish on that alternate one stop, but now we should have hopefully the pace to overtake the guys ahead. But you can see we actually got a radio call that Sainz was having an engine drama, and you can see here it is in effect. He's now lost position to Sebastian Vettel as he now drops down to P8, and he'll have the 2 Red Bulls behind him. So it's a little bit of worry for Norris, but also myself and Ricciardo there. Obviously the 4 of us all running the brand new Audi engine. So you'd have to expect in the first round or 2 there's going to be some slight issues with it, but Sainz there, the first one to succumb to them by the looks of it. As we now head on to lap 22, we fly past Lewis Hamilton here. I can tell you the Audi engine does definitely work when it is working, so we fly past Hamilton there down the main straight. But here we go again now for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately for him, he's losing position to both Red Bulls, so sort of like a bit of karma there, how he was able to overtake both Red Bulls in one foul swoop. They've now both overtaken him down the main straight as he drops down to P10. And actually our teammate Daniel Ricciardo sort of lurking in the background, and Sainz's issue could be what gets our teammate into the points here. You can see Sainz trying to fight these Red Bulls to not lose position. He's actually, fair enough, doing a good job here against Sergio Perez, but eventually he does fall behind the Mexican there and down into P10. And now onto lap 23. Here comes our teammate Daniel Ricciardo down the main straight to overtake for the last point. This has been a great race from Ricciardo to get himself all the way back up here. He's just been very quietly picking off drivers one by one, and he now is able to overtake Carlos Sainz to get up into P10 and into the points. And it'll be interesting to see if he has the pace to maybe chase down the Red Bulls a little bit later on. But now, as we head on to the end of lap 23, start of lap 24, we are closing in on the end of Lando Norris. Ignore the pit window open thing now. We aren't pitting again. This is it. We are on these sides to the end, although we have a massive double front lock up there. And so that overtake was all for nothing as Lando just gets straight back ahead of us again. But we will, no, actually, we don't have the DRS on Norris. Norris has the DRS. So feeling a little bit stitched over there, but we dive back down the inside of turn 4, and this time it's sort of a role reversal on what happened in the last stint now, where we have the better tyre.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there, we're attempting to manage it.
And that is not the news that we want to hear, so it looks like very possibly it's our turn to experience some issues here with the engine.
It looks like we're experiencing an ERS software glitch.
So luckily they're not looking as bad as what Sainz had, but you can see looking at the MFD there, we don't have the option to use overtake mode. So that's certainly not what we want at this point of the race when we're in such a vigorous battle with Norris and Hamilton. But you can see by the end of lap 25 onto lap 26, that has been resolved by the team. So we are able to use overtake mode down the straight. So a little bit of a scare there as we head into turn 1 now at the end of lap 26. Norris is able to get there to the inside, but we're going to hold position over the McLaren there. This is an important battle for us to decide who is the better of the two Audi engine teams as we head into turn 4. Norris again down the inside, and the Mercedes of Hamilton also looking to get himself involved here, but we are able to sort of split, go through the eye of the needle there. And we do get ahead of both of them, and actually Hamilton's been able to get ahead of Norris as well as we head on to lap 27. They are once again side by side, and they're both going to have DRS on us again. So once again, we're going to head into turn number 1, 3 wide. We just cannot seem to get away from this 3-car battle between the 3 of us, and they are unfortunately both through ahead into turn 2 and 3. But we do get the better run on both of them there as they go side by side through turn 2, and we are able to get ahead. There's a little bit of yellow flag going on down at turn 1, so we'll have to have a look at that after this battle's finished. You can see we sweep around the outside of Hamilton, and we do get ourselves ahead. So we're going to have a look at what the yellow flag was, and it was Zhou Guanyu. Unfortunately there for the rookie, you can see he was chasing down Sebastian Vettel, and as he heads through turn 1, he just lights up the rears and spins and's pointing backwards as the Red Bulls go past. So that's a huge shame for Zhou there. He was doing a very good race here in his debut for not only Mercedes, but just in F1 in general. But you can see at the end of lap 27, Hamilton has to come into the pit lane to fix his front wing. So it's to lap 27, an absolute nightmare for Mercedes. Only 2 laps to go now, and it is just ourselves and Lando Norris now to race for P2 and P3. But Mercedes with an absolute shocker. And I can tell you now, it's Zhou in P10 and Hamilton in P11. So after that spin, Zhou still outdoing Hamilton, I guess. But yeah, they've gone from looking to be fighting for P3 and P4 to now fighting for 10th and 11th, and actually maybe even worse for Hamilton there, as he has to do that very long pit stop for his front wing. But you can see battling away with Lando still. This is quite the battle for position. Obviously, I've said a few times now, the battle to sort of work out who is the faster of the two Audi-powered teams. So, of course, it had to be, out of anyone on the grid, it had to be Lando Norris that we're battling here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc is absolutely checked out, so this is the battle for second place, remember. It may seem like the battle for first, but yeah, Leclerc has just absolutely taken off as we fly past Lando Norris down the main straight, and hopefully we're able to hold position until the end of the lap. But we're going to look forwards to Charles Leclerc with his 30-second lead over us, where he's absolutely continued that dominance from the end of last season, and he's going to come home to win the Bahrain Grand Prix by an absolute margin over the rest of the field. So you can only give the highest respects to this drive from Charles. Sure, that Ferrari seems to be working for him very well, but to be able to stitch it together and win by 30 seconds is something else. As Lando actually comes back at us here, you can see there goes Charles Leclerc. He crosses the finish line to win the race, but we are still battling with Lando Norris to the very death of this race. We do have the position ahead of him at the moment, but as we head down this final straight, he's going to be very close to us with the slipstream. He's got a slightly better run out of that last corner there, and he's going to go to the inside. We're going to try and block right to the inside there, and he gets right behind us. He actually locks up the wheel, so Vettel tries to go around the outside of him, but he's not able to do it. So it's going to be myself in second, Norris third, and Sebastian Vettel in fourth. What a finish to that race.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
What a performance from Charles Leclerc. I gave it to him in that wrap-up just before the race finished, but an absolutely dominant drive from the Monegasque driver in the Ferrari. I think he's going to be a real possibility for the champion of Season 3 here. He just absolutely dominated at the end of last season, and he's absolutely brought that forwards into this season with a 31-second win by the end of the race. It was ourselves in second ahead of Lando Norris in third. Sebastian Vettel in the other Ferrari doing well in P4. Then the two Red Bulls of Verstappen and Perez fight 5th and 6th. Our former teammate Carlos Sainz did actually manage to get his car sorted by the looks of things, and he finished P7 ahead of our teammate Ricciardo in 8th. Looking at the driver standings, obviously there's not too much to look at because that's just where everyone finished. Alonso did end up 9th and Zhou in 10th ahead of his teammate Hamilton. So Mercedes will be absolutely hating this weekend and looking to improve at the next one. Ferrari leads the Constructors' Championship ahead of us in second. We are 1 point ahead of our main rivals for this season, McLaren, with the other Audi-powered team, obviously, there in P3. Red Bull finish off P4. Mercedes right down in 6th on 1 point. So, yeah, I think we'll have to watch out for Mercedes because they certainly have a quick car. They just had a very, very unlucky and unfortunate last round here in Bahrain. So, yeah, it looks like it could be a pretty close championship. We're going to have to hope for something special against the Ferraris, I think, with Leclerc just being absolutely dominant against everyone. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. We're in China next, so I'll see you all there. Goodbye.